Getting everything ready. Let's set everything up. And let's see. It seems that I'm live. Hopefully. Hopefully. I'm still not getting myself on the screen, so for me, it's not showing yet. Let me know if you guys can see me. I'll be sending out this here. There I am. I can see myself. Okay. Hello. Cristiano, Acid, Hardwick, Tenka, Justin, Mylogify, Psyder, Justin again. How are you guys? How's everybody? Let's check the command now, if the command is now working. The command bot. Maybe it needs a little bit of time to wake up. Stream Elements is a little bit sleepy. Oh no, there it is. There we are. Okay, so we're going to be doing feedback. Now I realize that I probably won't have enough tracks to fill up the whole 3.5 to 4 hours that I plan on streaming. So in the meantime, we'll be looking at making more kick drums, what we did yesterday. So I'm just going to play around a little bit and we'll wait for a few tracks to be popped in. If people already want to submit, then they can. It's going to be feedback on stream. There's a channel specifically for it on the Discord, right here under the stream section. So you can just go in here and post your track. Make sure that it's public. Can you give me a small brief on what do I gain by using clippers after synthesizing a kick? It controls the peak level. So what it will do is, if we look into, let's see if we can find the processing chain. Yes. Here we have a free clipper called free clip. It's set to a hard clip mode. And I'm just boosting it into the clipper so that the transient gets squashed by this clipping type here. And then you basically gain, Okay, I seem to have dropped out. Do you get more headroom by doing that? Yes, hard clipper is wanted because the hard clipper is the cleanest under the clipping point. You can see from the graph, if I turn it to any other graph, it starts to clip before the ceiling, which is indicated right here in this diagram. And this one will only clip above the ceiling, which is what you want. Dude, you're the one who explained it the best. Thank you. Glad I was helpful. So, the way that we're going to do this is through the analyzers. If there's some problem... Hello? I crashed there for a second. Hopefully everything is still okay. I should be back. I'm having a little bit of... Ooh. Okay, so maybe we won't use the analyzers then. Cuts out for me for some reason. Anyone else experiencing some issues? Yes, it seems to be a little bit dodgy today, the stream. Let's hope that this project will still load up. Thank you. I had some connectivity issues earlier. Those seem to now be fixed, and then I got a little bit of a crash with those analyzers. So maybe we'll have to use different methods to show what I want to show. Now it's good, I think. Okay. Let's hope that it stays that way. Do I live in Europe? Yes, I live in northern Italy. Everybody experiencing the same fallouts. I can see it on my side as well, that it's cutting out. It's not the best. This is also quite a big project, actually. I might have something on the background for updating. I don't think so. This is the masterclass thing that is out now. that I want to talk about later, so I need that later. Nothing in here. It's probably maybe the project, because if we look in the project, there is a lot of processing chains here for every one of these. There's this one, this one, this one, and it seems to struggle a little bit in here. So what I'll do is, this is going to be probably an offline project with the kick making. So we might actually switch over to making some snares. It's still saying that it needs, that it has a poor streaming quality. I don't know why. Because on my OBS it looks all fine. OBS is telling me that everything is working. Okay, let's go into the snares one. That's a lot less problematic. Maybe I need to. Give me 2 seconds. Hopefully this is better now. Roommates are downloading stuff. That shouldn't matter. I have my own internet. Still no data? Still giving errors for me. Maybe it's because I'm the one streaming that's causing the issues, but hopefully things are better now. Let me know if there's still issues. Then I think it's the internet. What do you mean limiter? There's no limiter on my chain, I think. I mean, there is a little bit, but it's not reaching. But now it's not cutting the video stream, so I guess it's good. Let's hope for the best. I'm still seeing errors on my end, but let's hope that those go away. So I'm just going to dive in with the feedback. This is probably going to... yeah. And then it opens up nicely. And hopefully now this time it's stable. So I can go and get into the actual feedback. We're going to use these analyzers to just analyze the... I think it's a limiter when you have something, some other thing which when you don't talk, it has no sound whatsoever. Yeah, that's the point. I have a noise gate, so that it takes out all of the things when I'm not speaking. Cutting out again, yeah. It seems to be back now. I want to test if the analyzers are what is causing the problem, because I'm getting lag spikes as this is happening, and I can hear my PC revving up as well. Yeah, there it goes again. Maybe restarting router. I'll try that. Then obviously it's going to disconnect for a little bit. Hopefully this time it works better. Let's see. I just want to wait and sit around a little bit to see if I'm still going to have internet issues. Only then will we actually test the analyzers. So we'll wait for a little bit, wait for some people to join back in. Let's see, I have one track here. And then hopefully already a few elsewhere as well. Not getting a lot of submissions yet here, but it seems to be more stable here. What I want to try is putting on the analyzers, because that might be the problem here. This is going to do that. And now with the analyzers on top, it seems better. Which it would always be nice to use the analyzers, of course. So it seems better. And go here, and then this can go here. And then it's all neat and organized. Okay, it took a little while, but we're here. Nice. So I'm going to listen to the first track. We have one submission from Psyder. Let's see here. Dogron tribute download file. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to play it from here. I'm going to have a listen. Hello Sai. Hello Klaus. All the familiar faces. Nice kick and bass. Can make it a bit louder. Kick and bass is very dark, I would say, for the type of track that you're going for, I think. Now it's a lot brighter, right? With the drum loops on top. Nice switch up there. You could do a little bit more of that. Very long section this. I like the flute sound, but it feels like the rhythm doesn't really work with the kick and bass. It almost feels like you're resorting now to the trance gates to actually fix that. This is very nice. name of this track? Dogon's Tribute. It's still a private track. I don't think it's released yet, unless Psyder says otherwise. This is by Psyder. That's a very big switch around here. Complete 180. With that very dark, very growly impact. I don't know if that fits well, but... because the rest of the track feels quite happy. We're back into some happy melody here again. I like the well-defined automations on the main lead here to play well with the melody. And then suddenly they're gone. I think there's like a triplet part in that flute part, and that doesn't really work for me. But overall, nice track, very nice. The way I would try to improve this is maybe by, for some reason I can't post the link. You can post the link in Discord, right? Discord feedback on stream. You cannot post the link here in the chat. But if you go into my Discord here, into the channel feedback on stream, there you guys can submit and then we'll listen to it. What I want to say for this track is that there is a lot. It doesn't show. It does show up for me now. Yeah. Universum by Klaus K. It's showing. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about here is the lack of really like a main element. And you do have some potential main elements in the track, but they're not mixed in such a way. Because if you listen to, for example, this part here, where it's very, very busy. There's really nothing that's like standing out. Right? There's a bunch of different elements all fighting for the same space. Personally, I like my psytrance where there is like one defining element that defines the rhythm or the theme of that part of the track, and then mixing all of the other elements around it a bit more, with a little bit of a lower level, a little bit of less higher frequencies, a little bit more stereo with, all that kind of stuff. Can I send unfinished projects? Of course you can. And I can point you into the direction that I would use to actually finish the project. So what I would say for this track is, one, fix the rhythm of that flute where there's triplets. Let's see, where is it? I think here. I cannot pause the analyzer, but you can see there is like a triplet part of it. Pam, 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 pam. That kind of thing. That's really not what you want, because it doesn't layer well with the rhythm of the kick and bass itself. And obviously within trance we're trying to create this almost hypnosis effect with the music that we're creating. And you can only really do that if you have a very well defined rhythm that people can dance to. And if there's two competing rhythms, then in our mind it just doesn't really work. Other than that, is there something I needed to say? Oh yeah, at the start your kick and bass felt fairly dark for the kind of uplifting track that you're creating. I think maybe a little bit of extra high end on the kick transient and a little bit of extra click from the bass. Here it sounds fairly dark for me. And that can work if the rest of the track doesn't really have this happy, uplifting feeling. But you have this fairly happy track in terms of the other elements. You have nice, big melodic sections. You have nice, cool vocals. There are not really that many like dark, stabby synths in there. So that's a little bit of a strange kind of choice to get such a dark kick and bass to layer that on top of. The next thing that I want to say is be careful with the muddiness of your elements. I feel like there's a lot of like, what area is it? Like 100 to like 300 hertz muddy buildup from delay tails and reverbs, and maybe you have a little bit too many elements in that lower space sitting in parts like this. It's actually a bit higher. It's around 1K here. There's like a lot of stuff going on. And for example, those higher plugs don't really come through the mix now. Those could be very good main elements, but because you have like 3 or 4 sequences kind of running around there, all mixed in as main elements, it's really hard to perceive them well. How would you recommend making the bass more uplifting? Just giving it a little bit more click on the transient, a little bit more high end. Open up that filter cutoff, make the filter cutoff modulate a little bit more, and then that should be good. Same with the kick, a little bit more high end, and then that should be it should bring out a little bit of brightness and therefore makes it overall sound a little bit less dark, which is kind of the vibe that you want to go for if you have such a happy kind of production for the rest of it. We have already 2 more submissions. Let's go into Klaus K. Let's see, Universum. This one is actually public, so you guys can go and listen to it yourself as well. Stereo bass.
The universe is all of space and time with contents, including planets, stars, galaxies, and all other forms of matter and energy.
Vocals could come out definitely a lot more.
Das Universum, gesamt auch der Kosmos oder das Weltall genannt, ist die Gesamtheit von Raum, Zeit und aller Materie und Energie darin.
Here as well, you have a lot of kind of mid-range energy from the sequence, and that's clogging up what the vocal is saying a little bit. Also, I feel like the kick is completely lacking in that area. Very much your unique style. I do like the groovy style that you've been doing.
13.787 billion years ago.
I plan to change the kick. It's definitely a strange kick because it lacks a little bit of the punch that I think you need. I feel like some elements might be a little bit too wide in terms of stereo. Like this is a final master. I don't think it should be so wide for psytrance. I think you should be around like here if the kick and bass is playing. I do like the feeling of the kick, so if you can EQ it and something like that, then I think it could work, because also the percussions are very groovy and club-like, almost like house percussions. You could also give a little bit more punch, a little bit more mid-range to... Oh, there's another Mind B track starting to play for free. You could put a little bit more punch also on the bass line, I think. So both your kick and bass lack a little bit of that oomph to kind of cut through the mix. Other than that, I thought there were a few elements that sounded very, very wide. I don't know how well that's going to translate to club environments. Other than that, not really much to talk about. I think... Let me listen here.
Aller Materie und Energie darin.
The universe is all of space and time and their contents.
Oh yeah, your vocals really don't stand out of the mix, and you want that to happen obviously so that people can understand the vocals. Vocals are fairly important to have them at a level where they're understandable, otherwise we get confused when listening to it, because we're always trying to understand the human voice. That's kind of in our nature, because obviously we're human. So we would usually mix within psytrance the vocals at least so loud that we can either hear them and the context of what they're saying, even if it's in a different language, or we can determine that they are, for example, vocal chops or something like that. It should always be loud enough so that we can kind of understand what we're listening to when it comes to the human voice. I thought that were something that wasn't cracked. No, it's some German speech, I think. They were even lower half an hour ago. Yeah, then you would have definitely not been able to hear them. But a little bit of extra brightness can also help. They're about the stars and the universe. That's good, because that works with your title.
All other versions.
But you need to make space for them, right?
Genannt ist die Gesamtheit von Raum, Zeit und aller Materie und Energie darin.
This is already better, but a little bit of extra brightness even on these can really help them stand out. Because when we're listening to vocals, we're really concentrating on like 4K and above. Because if I whisper, for example, then that's where you can hear the whispering as well. That's kind of the frequency spectrum in which we are focusing on actually trying to understand what the vocal is saying. So that's where that kind of comes from. Hello Aiden, how are you doing? So we have 2 more to listen to for now. There's also an English vocal, right? Maybe, yeah. I clicked out of it, so I don't have it anymore. Anyway, we're going to Hardwick. Hardwick's River Elves. Interesting. This one is private, so I'll keep it private here. I have to do the master myself on my little 4-inch monitors there. All I have available, so I'm curious if there's any problems you guys hear that I can't. Let's have a listen. I wonder what kind of psytrance this is gonna be. Or if it even is psytrance. Maybe it turns into a massive hardstyle drop. Nice. Good kick and bass. Very bouncy. I like it. Maybe a little bit heavy on the sub bass. Take like a dB away from the sub bass and bring it into the 100 hertz kind of region. A little bit more kind of chest punch you get from that. Here the vocal's a little bit off the rhythm. It sounds a little bit strange. The vocal chops, you have like a transgate on it that feels like it's out of rhythm. That sweep up sound, give that a little bit of attack. That there's no click at the start. Maybe a little bit low in the, or a little bit high in the lower frequencies. I think you really want to capture the last part of the sweep up, mainly. Nice work with the transgate. Hello Bass Monk, how are you doing? Don't even know how many people are watching now. 15 people watching. Nice. I think when the vocal's playing, you'd want to turn off this synth, because there's like a distraction happening. I would really focus on the vocal at this point here. Make that the main part of your breakdown. But that's like a stylistic choice. It's not like it's not working this way. The riser is a little bit strange, but very unique.
E la sfida fino a fare chiedimi di dana.
Nice. I think this whole track could be mixed a little bit brighter. I think that's gonna be the main takeaway from the track, because all of the other things that I've been saying is like small aesthetic details. Whereas overall I think like the track is very dark. Same problem that who did we have before? I think Cider had that same issue where his track was fairly darkly mixed while the kind of substance of the track was fairly uplifting. Here it's the same thing. Nice melodic elements, nice vocal, and yet it's very darkly mixed. Really try to get some of that extra brightness out of it, I would say. Stereo effect on the kick and bass. Very unique sound design as well, with all of the little mid-range bubble stuff. Going to play Mind Beat track again. Doesn't look like it. Okay. We have more and more tracks coming in. That's nice. This track is still private, but you can find it on Hardtwix's SoundCloud. Hardtwig Holzhausen. Hasn't posted anything yet, but I hope that he will release this one. Let's have a listen to Sadian. Track idea unfinished, no mastering. Very, very simple. Very nice atmosphere. Kick and bass definitely needs some work. Kick and bass separation. Again, it feels very dark, especially the bass line. I guess the sound design itself is also fairly dark. This whole track, maybe this is because this is like an MP3 and it's just missing this whole space here. That could be the issue. Also, when you're doing these kick fills, make sure that your kicks are well separated with fades on the audio and that you don't have a lot of filters behind it for post-tracking issues. It seems that you still struggle a little bit with the separation of the elements in your track in terms of kick and bass. Certainly go higher in key. That's a little bit strange. If I'm not mistaken, this is the track from the challenge I did last week. Right? Without the main sample. Yeah, still lacking a lot of high end. I'm thinking that that's just an MP3 thing. Because this may have been encoded into MP3 at some point. We don't get the higher frequencies. You can see it like dropping off right there. I'll try to update Signalizer for the next one. So that it looks a little bit smoother, hopefully. Here it's hard to tell when the drop is really starting. Usually you want a little bit of level difference between your kick and bass transition and the actual drop, so that you get that extra punch from it. I do like your very warm atmosphere sounds when this goes into higher key mode, or the higher key area kind of. Okay, so the two main things to cover is your kick and bass separation. You want your kick and bass to look clean, and it doesn't in this case. So that's something to look forward to. And the second thing is the same that I said to Hardwick, I think, about not having well-defined main elements. And those are really important because those are the things that we focus on. You have some vocals in there which could be mixed a little bit more as main elements. Again, I thought the kick and bass was slightly on the dark side for the feeling of this track, because the rest of the track feels very melodic again, very kind of uplifting, and then you have a fairly dark kick and bass layered below that. But those are kind of like all aesthetic things. The only thing I would say what you really should be doing is not rendering out MP3 files. You should be rendering out WAV files, and you should use those for all musical purposes, like uploading to SoundCloud, uploading to streaming services, stuff like that. Because if you use an MP3 file, you can see it in the analyzer, there's just a big hole in your high frequencies. And that's never really what you want. Also, when you're doing live sets, DJs, they always want WAV files because they just sound better. So keep that in mind. We have some more stuff in here, I think. We have Deku twice. Deku 420. I'll delete mine, occupies too much space and it's not finished anyway. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Because this is a nice way to remind yourself where you were at the beginning of the stream. Please show me where I put my stuff. You can put your stuff, !feedback, and it will show you the link to the part of the Discord where you need to be. It is in feedback on stream if you're already in here. So this is Discord, you scroll down. Feedback on stream, and you can post it here. We have 2 posts from Cyborn, Deku. Let's see, hopefully they're not too long, because otherwise we might stay a little bit too much on the same artist. Not that I have much other things to do. This one is 7 minutes. Yeah, let's just go for it. That's okay. Very unique intro. This is no indication of strange kick and bass stuff. It does feel decently separated. Again, I would like a little bit more high end on the kick and bass. You're lacking a lot of punch in this area for a kick. I feel like all of your other elements, apart from the kick and bass, are mixed a little bit too loud. There's a little bit of an issue with kick and bass separation when you have that kick fill there. I would also have my kick fill on the 16th bar, not on the 15th. Haven't had any percussions yet. No hi-hats, no snare. Some elements also have very strong sidechaining. Not sure if I should post this latest track for feedback since I got it reviewed in the Discord a few days ago. At least the oldest version. We can have a listen to the newest one for me, if you want to. Still no percussions. Did you just forget about the percussions? Still working on it. It's still work in progress. You see here the balance is nice between all the elements. This is a good balance between kick, bass and main elements. Always make sure that the lowest few harmonics are saved up for a kick and bass. So I see a few synths that go in kind of danger territory of like 120, 100 hertz, that kind of area. That's really space that you want to reserve just for kick and bass. Sure, I can run it quickly. Go ahead. The more people, the better. Now that I know that this is high tech, we're also going to listen to the other one, because we got 2 submissions. While rendering, I forgot to turn on the percussions. Percussions can make this track more energetic. Yeah, I can imagine that it would be more energetic if the percussion group was turned on. Oh, nice. Nice to see that I'm not the only one that could make such a mistake. I'd like to see how it goes from here into the kick and bass again. Ooh. It's maybe a little bit too dense, that kick and bass. Or that kick filler with the delay. Our final, or our first key change. Feels like you're switching back a little bit late. You also have some very strong sighting on some of your elements. Again, lacking a little bit in this mid-range area. You can see the kick lacking frequency content there. I think that should be around like this area here. 250 to like 400 hertz. Right? This is about 400 hertz. 500 hertz. Have a look at your kick and bass separation. I can't. It's annoying with this waveform. This waveform is. It's a little bit too slow. At least for me. So I need to update Signalizer. But I cannot see if the kick and bass separation is very good. Oh, that just happens in the track. Okay. There's just a lead there. I was like a lead was beginning to play out of nowhere. We got some techno. Either way, nice track. You're still working on it, so there's a lot of things that you need to fix. I was like, where did that sound come from? Yeah, same for me. I immediately paused the track to see if it was actually in the track. And that way I found out it was. But there's just this one random lead that just pops out of nowhere. That wasn't used anywhere else in the track as well. But we have another track from you. I want to see. This is also a good way to listen to see if people have the same problem over and over again. I think Sai also posted this second track. Yes. This one is a lot shorter. Just started this before the stream. It's called. Again, Psy Born. Here the kick and bass separation is good. You can see nice waveform. Don't mess too much with the kick and bass anymore. Also lacking a little bit in the high end here. A little bit of extra high end could be nice. Obviously percussion still need to come in, but it's always nice to have a little bit of extra kind of grittiness coming out of your kick, especially. Like if you listen to the kicks that I've been making. Here. Here. You can see high went all the way to the top, right? Really doesn't have that issue. And it's like a nice clean kick. I sometimes feel like that's a little bit lacking in some of you guys' tracks. Because we had a few now where I would say that the kick and bass themselves were fairly dark for the kind of feeling that they had. To be honest, this last track, the feeling of the track itself, all of the atmospheres and stuff like that is also very dark, so it went a lot better. But I still think that a little bit of an aggressive kick, especially, the bass not so much in this case. But for the kick here, just a little bit of extra high end just to, you know, get some extra punch out of it. We have the next track, Tenka Trance. Daydin coming to Frequency, Tenka and Nasdi remix, not finished. This is going to probably get struck down for copyright. Companies like Bass 79 and there's another one, Trans Central I think also does it, but they take down my streams if I play copyrighted music like remixes. And Daydin and Coming Soon are both they're both like big artists, so I don't really want to risk it, to be honest. I know even with you, you're giving me explicit permission because you have permission to play the track and to remix the track. If it doesn't sound anything like the original, then I can play it. But I'll call you as a witness if we are going to court, okay? Nice. Nice guitar part. Nice. You have this kind of question answer between the vocal and the vocal modified there. The rolling kick doesn't really work for me. I'm gonna be honest here. Apart from that, you're lacking again around this frequency range here. I would say a little bit too much. I know that is an easy way to make space for all of your other elements, but I like that punch from my kick as well. Right here, you can just see a hole. The track starts to work now, but when the rolling bass came in for the first time, it really didn't work well for the rhythm, I think. Because this is like a very offbeat, centered track in terms of the rhythm being set up. With our main breakdown here. That click kind of just comes in. Ah, we're going to triplets now. Maybe have it come in a little bit later, so that we forget the old rhythm. Because that's really what you need to worry about when switching to like triplets. Should be going now. This is the build-up. It's a very long build-up. Very nice. Say maybe. Ah no, it's pitching up. Yeah, it's hard to go back from triplets into this to make that work. Very good production. I like the separation of all of the elements. Some small rhythmical issues, but overall very, very solid. You could actually get a little bit extra high-end out of your percussions, I would say. It's automatically playing stuff again. That's not what we want. Next track here. Ooh, we have a lot of people in here. Psy, Electric Dreamscape 144. Alien. This is your first psytrance. 27 days ago you've gotten into psytrance. Let's have a listen. Yeah, same kind of feeling that I got from your other kick and bass, is that you have issues with kick and bass separation and creation. It's again very, very dark sounding, and you can just see from the waveform that the post ringing from one bass note is just going into the next one. Can you post a SoundCloud link? Yes, all of these have been SoundClouds up so far. Again, this is probably MP3 error, so please don't say dark when you mean muddy. No, and yeah, of course this kick and bass is muddy, but I also think it's lacking high frequency. So in that kind of way, I think that it's also dark. But again, you're lacking a lot of high end here, and overall I think this whole track could be mixed a bit brighter. Your mixing sucks, well, at least somebody points it out, and then you can hopefully find the tools that you need to work on that issue and take your tracks to the next level, because the ideas are very, very solid. You're building up the track very, very well. This track could use a little bit of extra fills to switch from one idea to the next, because it's now just kick and bass all the way from start to finish throughout the whole drop. This track is kind of the same sounds the whole track. Well, I have nothing to do, so I can just sit here and listen to the whole thing. If there's something special that stands out, I want to hear it. Here you have a lot of mid-range from another element.
Here's the key to success, and the key to failure.
Again, lacking the brightness in the vocals so that they are not really that understandable.
Now let me say that again. We become what we think about. Throughout all history, the great wise men and teachers, philosophers and prophets have disagreed with one another on many different things.
You have a lot of things packed up in the mid-range, and then you're not using your vocals to stand out in the higher frequency, so they're not understandable.
He said, a man's life is what his thoughts make of it. Disraeli said this, everything comes if a man will only wait. I have brought myself by long meditation to the conviction that a human being with a settled purpose must accomplish it, and that nothing can resist a will that will take into existence.
Here again, the vocals are just not understandable. Where do we get these kind of vocals? Online, documentaries. You just have to look how to sample things. It's like... Yeah, there's a bunch of tricks. I'm not going to go into my tricks because that's kind of like asking the chef for its recipe to its like main dish or his signature dish. Because your signature sound is your vocal work. But there are a bunch of tricks that you can do to finding good vocals and main elements. Everywhere, movies, radio spots, etc, etc. Yes, exactly. You need to find your own way of finding the vocals. And the only way that you can really do that is by learning how to look for them. Ask your partner to say it and sample it. That's also a technique. But that requires girlfriends. Or wives. What if you don't have a partner? Yeah, I was asking the same questions. I'm asking for a friend though, not for myself. Is it legally a problem to just rip vocals from movies, documentations and such? No. You have to... after this track, I'll talk about it after this track. He is correct in saying that this track is always sounding the same. There's a lot happening, yet there's not a lot of progression. After this we have Bo, Bias, another track from Hardwick, from the Projector Challenge. You can produce with Focus if you don't have a partner. I do like the ideas too. It's definitely good in the idea sense. You're not lacking in creative parts of like music making, but you need to spend a little bit of extra time working on the technical details of your production skills. Knowing how to do kick and bass separation, knowing how to keep the mid-range clean, and knowing how to use the full frequency spectrum. So also being able to use frequencies above like 8K, which this track was really lacking a little bit. I need to learn processing for master. This is not a master thing, this is a mix thing. You want to fix all of this, what I said, in the mix. In the master, you don't have enough control. I always just take what I want, don't ask, then I hope that nobody finds out. Well, when it comes to using material in documentaries or from YouTube videos or from any other source, there is something called fair use or fair dealing in the UK. We usually deal with fair use because when we post things, we post them on American companies' websites. So for example, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. I think all of those heavily rely on the principles around fair use. So that's what we look at. And in fair use, there is 4 factors that need to be established for you to legally take something. And these need to be established by a court. You cannot establish it yourself, but you can try to fall within the guidelines. So if things go to court, you have a good legal defense. That's the best that you can do. And what you would need to establish is that 1, you are taking the vocal and transforming it. If you're taking the vocal from a documentary and you're turning that into a musical production, then you can definitely say that you're transforming the content. It's not the same content as before. You need to look at the impact on the marketing of the original content. Are people likely going to substitute what they've already heard from your track with the original content? For example, if you take a movie and you take a reaction of that movie and you post that whole movie with the reaction on YouTube, that obviously that goes against this, because people no longer have to see the original movie. So that's why things like React streams and React content is frowned upon in like the YouTube community, because it's illegal. It does not fall under fair use. The third thing that would need to be proven this would need to be proven in order for it to not fall under fair use is that the person that you're taking the content from can, for example, prove that your content has had a negative influence on the marketability or the viability of their own content. If they find out that you copied something from them and then they start looking at their sales, for example, of a potential work, or just overall their revenue, and they can show to a judge that because you copied the work, they started making less money, it's harder to fall within fair use. The fourth thing is something that doesn't really apply to us. It is educational. It applies to me as I'm creating tutorials, but it does not apply to you guys if you're making tracks. You guys can obviously not claim like this is for educational purposes because it's entertainment. But what I can do as a tutorial maker within fair use is that I could theoretically take a musical piece of work and I could, for example, explain how the musical piece of work is created and what elements go into it and all that kind of stuff, whatever you want to do within a tutorial. For obvious reasons, you would need to be able to play the musical piece of work in order to explain about the musical piece of work. That's another exception there. When it comes to practical terms, you just have to deal with the automated systems, and I see that people already in chat are discussing a lot on how to actually get away with finding vocals and stuff like that. Just make sure that you don't get flagged, and even if you get flagged, make sure you throw in a bunch of legal garbage in the dispute. Scare them off. Make it so that the company claiming your shit thinks that you know copyright law, like I was just trying to explain. As I hopefully made clear before, this wasn't legal advice, so don't take it as legal advice, but do with it what you will. I've now officially given the disclaimer that this is not legal advice. But hopefully I was able to outline the different details and things that you need to know about copyright to actually work within the limitations. So what you guys are doing, if you're doing it well, is legal, by the way. Just saying, you don't have to think about it as stealing a vocal from somewhere, because it is technically legal to do. If you're doing it well, if you follow all the rules that I explained. And even then, it needs to actually be established by a judge, right? In a setting of court. And usually it doesn't get that far. This is Psayayay Psayayay by Bo. Thank you very much for sharing. I want to pick this up again and add the final part. It would be nice to hear any thoughts on part A. Thanks. Let's have a listen to part A. Again, very dark with the kick and bass. What's going on today? That's a good kick and bass. Keep that all the way through the track, first of all. You could do it without that introduction. I would like to have a very fast switch there. Have the glitchy part and then go into the acid stuff without bringing up the acid stuff before. Kind of like a theme switch instead of a transition. Very good fill work. I really like the transitioning work that you're doing here. Even though I gave a little bit of criticism on that last one, I really like the glitchy effects that you're using and stuff like that. Again. I wonder who is this in chat. It's Bo in my Discord, but I don't think I've seen it yet in my chat. Nice production. When it comes to a second part, I would just add more of the same. Oh, there's Bo. How are you doing? Nice one. We already have a little bit of a break going on here, but this is actually the end of the track. Nice stuff. Very nice. Would love to hear a second part. Aiden, hope I could fix all the major flaws from the last feedback. I don't remember the last feedback. Ah, dimensions, yes. Ah, yes. There's not too much, there's enough? Yes, exactly. Nice minimal kind of sounding track, I would say. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from here. I'd personally say that this is a track where the bass transient is a little bit too bright. A little bit of a low pass filter, 12 dB at like 8K, something like that. Hello Greedo, how are you doing? I like the punchiness of the kick though. You can definitely say that this is enough in that area that we've discussed many times before on the stream. People seem to really like to cut that frequency range. Try to switch up part B and the break. You should be getting there. I think we talked about this before at length, but I'm still not a fan of the kick and bass peaking at the same level and having the same loudness in the breaks as in the drop. This was made by Aiden. BIOS. Here the rhythm just completely breaks down. I'm gonna be honest, for me it doesn't work having tape stub on part of your track and not the whole track. Overall, the sound design is very nice though. Very unique sounds in here. Big scream all of a sudden. Nice rhythm. That one sound feels a little bit too loud. Hopefully you can hear it as well. That just came through. That scream maybe also a little bit on the loud side. Everybody wants to know your SoundCloud. You can mix your percussions a little bit brighter as well. Really, they need to stand out outside of the leads. Percussions are more important than kind of the mid-range of a lead, I think. And I say this as somebody who regularly mixes too dark, so I see where the problem comes from. Like my mixes are constantly too dark, and I can feel like here the same. The percussions feel like they're like squashed into a little side area of the mix here, while they should be really dominating the ultra high frequencies. But offbeat hi-hat should really be bouncing through and adding even more to the groove that this track already has. Because that's clear what you're going for. Take away some transient of the bass line, some high end of the bass line at around 8K, 12 dB per octave, something like that. And then use that space that you have. In other parts, not so much. You can just leave it. But when the percussions come in, really use that space for the percussions to kind of sit in and to occupy. So mix your percussions a little bit louder. Straight out of the production project. Yeah, then obviously all of these things are still things that you need to work on. But then that's for the mix. Yeah, it also says dimensions work in progress. We have another track from Hardwig. This is Mysterious Vibrations from Projector Challenge. So this was from one of our challenges. Very nice atmosphere being set up here. From last week. Nice. Very cool theming being set up. I like it. I like it a lot. You have a very strong 1/8 note rhythm being set up though, and I can hear a galloping bass line coming in. I mean, it works because you break up the rhythm beforehand. But you could carry over the theme into the track by having an offbeat bass line here. Or at some point in the track. What's the process to send a track in? Would love some feedback sometime. You can send them into my Discord server. Feedback on stream, right here. Where Rainy is typing. Overall, the sound design is very, very nice, but I would like to have that intro theme come back a lot more. It's like you set up this very cool theme and then switch all the way. Wait, if I sent one in now, would it be listened to today? Yes, exactly. It would be right in time. Oh no, we have another one lined up here. It will come back for sure. I would, if I were honest, I would delete, it's maybe a little bit rough that I'm saying it like this, I would delete the drop that you have now and go for 1/8 offbeat bass line and just really write a track around this theme, because what you found here in terms of a melodic theme is very, very unique sounding. I really like it. What you could do is like chop it up here and do like gating mainly. You could do a few different bass stabs, something like that as well. To me, this intro has a lot more potential than the drop that comes behind it. AC Dime, this track has not been found. You have to share it with me via the share link, not the link that is in the top bar. There should be, if you go here somewhere, if I go to a public one, let me find a public track. Like for example, my masterclass track 2.0 track demo here. You can go in here and copy this link. Go copy this link on your own track and then share it with us, not the link that is on top of here. This is a different link. If I go here, you can see longer link. So big link. We need big link. This thing here. For those who are wondering, yes, this is the track from the masterclass. The masterclass has been out for a little bit now. You can see there's 2 links here, Gumroad and the full edition as well. This is just the videos. You can see masterclass 2.0 videos only. It's about 24 hours of masterclass. Then we have the full edition. You get 24 hours of videos as well as all of the projects, all of the samples, all of the stems from the production project, so you can mix it yourself if you want to as well. Masterclass 2.0. Very nice segue into Masterclass 2.0. Copy link. Copy this link here. This is what you want when you're sharing it. For everybody that's in the stream now and is deciding to share feedback with us, this is how you do it. You just click there with the copy link thing. Any other way, if the track is private, it's not going to work. SoundCloud link. Triple Edged Blade. There we are. AC Dime, you're amazing. Let's have a listen. I learned something new today. Over a decade in the industry and doesn't know how to post SoundCloud links. We've all been there. Something dark is being set up here. Something very drony. Here vocals again, they need to spring out. Kick and bass separation can be a little bit cleaner. I'm looking at the transients of the kick, mainly in the waveform up here. You can see some ones are poking down, some are poking up. That's a true indication of kick and bass not being separated properly. Overall, the theme works really well, all of the sounds together here. They all follow this kind of dark feeling. Even the percussions, even though they are nice and bright, they still have kind of an industrial feeling to them, which I like. Nice rhythm being set up again, 1/8 notes. Very, very strong here. Dark Sunday, we call it. Who made this? This is AC Dime with Triple Edged Blade. I'm not following you. That's not good. This is really a space where I would consider offbeat bassline. If you have such a strong offbeat theme, I would go offbeat bassline all the way. Now we're going into offbeat. Now we go into offbeat and the synths have started to become 16 notes. That's funny. You can switch the synths around and then you have a perfect collaboration between your kick and bass rhythm and the rhythms that are happening in your synth. Dark Sunday it is. Yeah, now you can hear how it sounds if your kick and bass and your main rhythm are in sync. Sounds much more cohesive. Going into a breakdown now. Going into triplets, I think. Yes, triplets. Nice. This is a very spicy part of the track. Again, good done on the rhythm of the track. Maybe a few too many bass rolls. Like having one every beat is maybe a bit too much. More than that. I like the gated effect here. It feels like the bass rolls are a little bit random as well. Like they don't really make sense with the overall rhythm of the track as a whole. Usually you want your bass rolls to be in parts where the track really isn't playing a lot of its main elements, a lot of its main leads. So there's detail work that can be fixed here, but it's overall a very, very good track. As have all been, I think. We haven't really had any submission where we were saying, like this is just incorrect, right? It's all been, I would say, like stylistical changes that I would make. Never where it's like, oh, this track just sounds completely off or something like that. So everybody's doing very, very well. Schizophrenia by Guns White Auburn.
You ever hear that little voice in your head which gives you that confidence boost? The voice that just gets you going. For me, it is a little different. Do you ever hear that little voice in your head which gives you that confidence boost? The voice that just gets you going. For me, it is a little different.
Nice use of text to speech, actually.
The voice that just gets you going. For me, it is a little different.
Very cool setup.
You're one you are one. Want to come play? We love you. Stupid. We love you. Stupid.
Good example of clear vocals, exactly. Even though they're very trippy in effect, they do work well in terms of being cleared.
We love you. Run. We are coming for you. Want to come play?
I think it's a little bit too empty of a track in the part right before the drop. Also, it's quiet here, so it's not mastered. Hey, will there be another sample challenge stream again? I kinda missed the notification last time. Yes, there will be next Sunday. Around this time. Or around the same time I started today. Feels like the kick and bass is again lacking a little bit in that mid-range area. A little bit too much, like right there. This is some wild sound design. It's a shame that this track is so quiet here. That it's not mastered. Dude has like 9.5 dB of headroom. Master is missing, yes, exactly. Here the vocals are a little bit drowned out by the other elements. Maybe that's also again because it's not really mastered. Maybe if you master it, then it becomes a lot louder. But I feel like that like gritty synth in the middle is really taking up its space of the vocal. The ARP as well a little bit. So at the end of the stream you'll be giving us the sample. No, I'll be giving you the sample at the beginning of the challenge stream. You guys will have 3 hours to make a track during the time that I'm also making a track. And at the end of the stream we'll listen to each other's tracks. Or I will listen to all of your tracks together. The plan was to have them clearer because of mastering and penning, yeah. Different mid-side processing. Well, honestly, your vocals should be in the middle. If this is going to translate to a dance floor, then they should also be clear to understand. So you want to mix them quite mono, actually.
Stop it. You are not real. You think so? You are only in my head. Turn around and see for yourself.
I do like your use of vocals. Very, very good.
You are not real.
You think so? Turn around and see for yourself. Do you ever hear that little voice in your head which gives you that confidence boost?
Kick and bass separation seems nice. All of the transits seem like
It is a little
they look very, very similar. Don't ruin that. Thing with mix and almost importantly arrangement that can make something clear that is clear at first to become unclear. Yes, also we get used to the vocals and the main elements that sit within our track, so we tend to overproduce things and we add a bunch of sequences below it and then it becomes muddy, right? We say at some point, oh, we want a little bit more, we want a little bit more power, we want a little bit more energy, and then you start pushing the envelope of how much stuff you actually need to have in a track. Kick feels very, very different here than it did a little bit ago. Something missing up the low frequencies. It does go on for quite a while, this track. 10.5 minutes. After this, it's just going to be the outro. Maybe we'll skip that part then. You really like the laughing vocal. Yeah, that was quite bright in the mix, I would say. Overall, the track doesn't really progress a lot. Sorry. I'm allergic for static tracks, I guess. There should be a little bit more evolution in the track, personally. I do like your vocal work, but it just needs a bit more, right? Okay, it seems like we currently don't have any other things that I need to take a look at in terms of feedback. Obviously, you guys can still submit ! feedback for all of the details on submitting. What I'm going to do now is I want to do a little bit of a break, and in that break I'm going to be playing, obviously, the track from the masterclass that came out today. If you haven't seen it yet, ! Masterclass to get linked to the Gumroad page for it. There's also messages on my Discord for it. There's a link in the stream down below. Can we feedback your masterclass tune? Definitely, 100%. Let me just pop this off. I'll be right back, guys, and I'll just have this play and with the analyzers.
I believe that if we are honest with ourselves, that the most fascinating problem in the world is who am I? What do you mean? What do you feel when you say the word I myself?
not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind.
Growing up, I was always very proud of this body. And I was also very proud of my mind. And I identified with my body and my mind. As we all do. I identified with my body and mind as me. But it's not me, far from it. If we just observe life as it is, we can see that this body cannot be me. This mind cannot be me.
I'll let it play out. Everybody seems to like the track here. It's nice. The high energy part.
I am not this body. I am not even this mind.
See, very clear vocals. Use the flute, my favorite instrument, is so well. Awesome. Thank you. I'm a big fan of the flute as well. So that's the masterclass track. You guys can go in the link of this stream or type !masterclass if you're interested in finding out how this was all made. There's one thing that's purely taste though you could do with some bass note changes. Yes, that could probably be introduced in the track in some points. But I sometimes like to have my tracks just fully static note. But I agree that for this track it could probably have used them in some more of the high energy parts. But sometimes I just don't like to do it. And at the time, the way I was making my bass line, I was like instantly resampling, so it would have also been quite a bit of work to do that, to go back into the bass patch and to make it again. Because obviously for the masterclass I go over the kick in chapter 1, the bass line in chapter 2, and there I also show how to resample it. So I already had it in like audio. I absolutely love static bass notes. Yeah, you see, you get a lot of different feedback here, a lot of opposing opinions. But you make the best out of it. Either way, that is the masterclass track. Now I want to quickly, before I forget it, ask you guys a question about my latest long format video. The one that is 4 producers, 1 beat. Hopefully all of you have seen it. What I wanted to ask is if you guys saw it all the way through. What's a static note? It's always playing the same note. Yes, you guys have seen it. Nice. Because what I noticed is that a lot of people were like purely listening to the tracks, and I'm wondering if that's harming the video. because then you're just skipping over big parts of the videos. I'm always interested in making my content better, and if I see that people are skipping over parts of the videos, then obviously I want to make sure that people look at it the whole way through. I quickly need to see where I could find it again. Oh yeah, here. This graph here shows me what percentage of viewers are sticking around for that part of the video. And you can really see that people are mainly interested in the finished song. It dropped off pretty quickly here with the first explanation, and people were just skipping forward into next parts of the song, or in this case, the explanation of Dash. Got a little bit more attention than Psyger and Mr. Speaker and myself in their explanations. What I would like to see is people watching it all the way through, obviously. So it would be nice to see these percentages go up at some point. I think that would also do the video better overall. I can actually show the impressions that I've been getting. It's been going up as well. The impressions. But it's not been so much as the views. You can see the views, they are rising a lot harder. And that's because Dash obviously did his side of the video, in the sense that he did a little bit of a bigger breakdown on the topic on his channel, and obviously that's brought over a lot of people to my channel, as it usually does when Dash talks about me. So that's nice. Overall, I would like to see this video perform a little bit better than just like 1.1k views, because it took 6 months to make. If you have 43 minutes and 27 seconds of time, then consider watching the video all the way through. If not, you can also click it on, put it on your second monitor, turn off the volume and let it watch itself. I think it's the people, to be honest. YouTube exposing you. Yes, I get to see all of the things that you guys do. I get to see exactly what kinds of, or what parts of the video you guys enjoy watching. And obviously, as a content creator, it is important for me to make the content that you guys actually enjoy. So even for the last video that I've been making now, that is not up yet, that will be up on Patreon, hopefully tomorrow, for all Patreon members, or all the higher tier Patreon members to see in early access. But what I've been doing is really trying to cut out all of the dead space in a video. So to make sure that it's always moving forward and that I'm always explaining things, and that the showcases aren't actually too long. So that's interesting. Andrew Wang and Alice, your favorite do YouTube good. Yes, there's some content creators that you can really definitely learn from. What I missed a little bit in that video, and I really don't mean, I felt that the responses were a little bit static. Yes, they are heavily reacting, sometimes a bit too much, but that's the fun of it. We had a little bit of an issue at the beginning, because obviously this is the first one that I do, so I couldn't I didn't really have know-how of how I wanted to actually make this video, so it took a little bit of time getting it to feel right. And a few of the reactions I actually edited from segments that were supposed to go afterwards, because some people that we were filming with thought that they meant that they had to react to the track after it played, which is kind of makes sense, because if it's playing, then you have the voice overlapping the track itself. But that's kind of the idea of the video, because if you do that for everyone, and everyone puts in their 2 cents after listening to each track, the video will be 2.5 hours long. So that's an issue. So I had to condense all of what they were saying, and they had elaborate things that they had to say about each of the tracks. They had 5-minute pieces for each of the songs that we had. So in that case, if I were to put those in for each producer, for every track, it would just be way too long. So I had to take a bunch of the things that were said after the track was played and put it in the track. So in that case, it does look a little bit like they're not reacting directly to the track, because in essence, they are not doing that. Right, since the parts showing the tracks drifted too much towards tutorials. People were kind of grasping default mode of content. In a video like this, you might look for different energy. Yes, that's again something that we need to learn from. Make it less like a tutorial on one very small thing that you did and just showing off, this is the sounds that I used and this is how I put them together. I tried to do that. I think I did that fairly well in my segment because I kind of just went through all of it, but my segment is last, so obviously people are already clicking off the video, people get other things to do and they don't really get here to this point. But you can see for all four of the statistics, for all four of the pieces, there's not that much of a drop off in like people continuing to view. It goes down pretty quickly and then it's just a few people leaving over the next few minutes just to go watch the next track, the next piece. But these videos, yes, it's something that you need to learn to make, definitely. Have these kinds of videos perfected. Yes, and I used NU Wang as a template, but I don't think I made it clear enough to the people that I was filming with that we were immediately like completely imitating that video. And so it came off as people trying to put their own swing on the video and producing it in a different way than we thought. But still, it came out quite well. I want all of you guys to watch that one because it took a lot of time, as I said. If you have a little bit of time, just take the time out of your life and view it because it's a good video. Also, breakdown of my version is coming very, very soon. I see. Zendo, how are you doing? Welcome. Do we have more people asking for feedback on their tracks? Not yet. If there's anybody who wants feedback, exclamation point feedback, to get feedback on your track, I'll be listening to tracks the rest of the stream. Cool that you guys did such a video too. Watch all the ones by Andrew and look forward to watching yours. I'm looking forward to the next one and making the next one, trying to organize that, see if I can do it better. No hate guys, this was the first video for Syed, will probably get better in the next videos. Yes, definitely. I'm hoping that I can turn this into a returning feature of my channel every few months. Like I'll do the next one in hopefully like 3 months or something like that. So that it doesn't put too much stress on having to organize it all. Because you are working with 3 other people for a video like this. So it takes a bit more time to actually organize it. Either way, we don't have any tracks to listen to right now for feedback. As I said before, if you want feedback, exclamation point feedback. Not too many elements, but still throw it in there. I have nothing else to do today. We can have a listen. Of course. Otherwise, I'll just be sitting here plugging my masterclass. Which, by the way, did you know that I released a masterclass today? Are you saying I shouldn't watch it? I'm saying that you should watch this one and then the next ones will be better and better and better. That's what I'm saying. You should always watch my videos if you have the chance. Wait, could I send another one? Of course, of course. Masterclass looks good, thank you. Sure, it will be better next time. Someone needs kicks. I should be making kicks, but the project crashed on me the last time I opened it, so I'm a little bit scared. I can test it. Let's just see what happens if I open up the drum pack, just out of curiosity, because that way, if there's no tracks anymore for feedback, I now see that Klaus posted something, and we'll be listening to that in a little bit. I've been making kicks for the last few years and I have a few questions. Shoot away. I'm all ear today, either for questions or for feedback. I'm hoping that this project is going to work on stream because it's very big now because of the way that I kind of structured it. I maybe went a little bit too far with the structuring. But everything is set up. So if it does work, then that's nice. Then I can just play with it. Here's the magical moment. I do need to update, but it does seem to be working now. Do we get lower connection speed like we did before? Nope. Okay, let's first listen to I was trying to replicate a kick and it got 99% the same wave on the scope, but it sounded completely different. Can I send a techno track? Yes. No track that I'm happy enough with. Still, you can send it. If you're not happy with it, then I can give more feedback, right? What probably happened is that your transient sounded different. And that's really the main issue. How to replicate a kick? Well, personally, I don't replicate kicks, so I have no real tips for you other than comparing it on like an oscilloscope. The oscilloscope that I like to use for this is SciScope, because in SciScope you can zoom into parts. So let's play a kick. Here I can see the layers that I have for this kick, but I can also crucially zoom into the waveform and really look at the detail of the transient. I can look at the summing here. Obviously this is not set correctly. You want a zero crossing right here so that your baseline transient sits in there. Did you study production or something, or are you on your own? I am kind of on my own. I started a master course in musical engineering, which is related but not production. And I've only started it at the beginning of last year. SciScope is my go-to scope. Yes, SciScope is really, really good for making kicks because of the fact that you can zoom in so far and can really look at the details of your kick however you want to. And you can compare, right? You can set in 4 waveforms. As you can see here, I have 3 different layers. We have our transient layer here in green. We have our main body layer, which is in yellow. And then we have our head layer, which is in purple. So that's how I use it. I like my kicks more looking like a butt plug, not a fish. That's definitely more like a techno thing, I would say. This is the kind of traditional psytrance kick drum shape. Did it help you learn design and production? No, not really. I learned that mostly on my own. Seeing the face while tweaking. Yes. When it comes to the master, it's more like the technical side behind, for example, plugin creation or the creation of mixer consoles, the creation of speaker systems. All of the technical know-how between audio or behind audio systems, both like hardware related physical stuff as well as like software related. Okay, I need to close out of this, open this up again, and then we'll have a listen to Interplanetary by Klaus. Exclamation point feedback if you're interested in your own feedback, but this is for Klaus. Kick and bass well separated. I don't think I like that lower sound that you have in there, that low growly sound. That one. Sounds too much like a fart for me. Yeah, and that was it. Why is it automatically playing the next again? That's playing a BIOS track. Didgeridoo, something like that. Yeah, it doesn't really work for me with the track. Kick drums, I guess. Let's have a look at some kick drums. The way I've set this project up is that it's all automatic. I can just make body here in whatever track is selected. In this case, that will be track 16. And if I go here, it goes 17. Go here, it goes 18, 19, 20, 21, and so on and so on. And the same is true for the transient, the same is true for the hat, the same is true for the processing, and the same is true for the processing here. So this is how I make my kicks. I just have a big project. I can make 100 kicks in here and all put them out here and listen to them, test them with different bass lines, for example like this, or the offbeat bass, or slide bass. That's how I like test bass lines. And you can see I'm making them for different keys. I don't match the MIDI note here, this note, to the actual key that I'm making it for. I much more do it on tone. So for example, say that we're making a G sharp kick and we plonk this down right here. Now this one is also, or not also, but if we put this here, it's also G sharp, which I feel doesn't really work well for this kick and bass. Let me turn up my audio on my side a little bit here, because it's getting quiet. I hope that the volume is still okay here. But I don't like how high it sounds with the bass line, this kick. I like my kicks to be like 2 semitones below. This sounds much more cohesive to me. Maybe even go F sharp here. Why not? We can work on the body a little bit by turning these two off. A little bit of a... strange body, maybe something like this. Thinking them but not saying them. Okay, transient. You can barely hear this one. Something like that, and then we add our hat. For this one I'm gonna go with a very, very short hat sound. Essentially just a click. And we can look into the different components here if we want to. You can see all of the focus is right here at the start of the main elements. Let's say the transient is still a little bit loud. But now we should be able to see the sum as well, actually. Do you modulate the pitch from the max height of the pitch to the note that you want, or do you start lower? The way that I do it is, if I go into the patch, is I have one LFO going upwards on the coarse pitch. This is playing the note that I want, so in this case it's playing F0, which is the sub bass. Then I go back here. And then I have this secondary one, which just adds a little bit of extra punch to the start. You can see this is half the timing as the 1/8. So this is the 1/16. and that's going to master tuning. So that's also increasing the pitch. This is also unidirectional. So yeah, it does end up on the notes that I want it to be. Okay, nice. So now we have a kick. We can... Actually, we need to look at the sum first. Summing. Looks pretty clean. Maybe here. See if we can make it cancel maybe a little bit. That's nice. Now I want my transient a little bit quieter still. We have a good transient, so that's okay. Let's do some processing here. Chain number 16. We add our EQ. EQ. Yeah, the project is going very slow because it's 100 chains of everything. There's 200 instances of Serum in this project and 100 samplers. So there's a lot of stuff on this track, in this project. Okay, nice. Now I want to check kick and bass summing. That's important as well. I do that on the edit track. So we go like this. I can close this like so and this like so. And then this goes to edit mode. And we'll listen to this one. Right? Why doesn't it show here? Ah, this is not set to the right mode, obviously. Okay, so what I want to do is let's look at layers. You can see where the transient of the bass sits. In this case, it's a little bit late. I don't know why, but it's at this halfway point, right? That's usually where you have your transient of your bass line. I actually need to fix this. This should be there. But what that means is that we want this transient to come through very cleanly. And the way that you do that is by having this be a zero crossing. So let's take this point of the kick and move it here. And the way that you do that is through the negative effects of phase shift. What is normally cause for concern for many psytrance producers is in this case going to help us. Let's look at what happens if we just plug this in here. Which is hopefully the right chain. It wasn't. It did show up at some point. It's chain 23 for some reason. That's not the one that we need. We want to start on chain 16. This is 100% worth it because what I can do is I can make the 100 kicks on the 100 different chains and then I can just make them for multiple BPMs so I don't have to remake them. Saves me a lot of hassle in that department. You can see I turn on the filter, the wave moves. And I can go up and it moves closer and now it's at the zero crossing. We can look at the summing again. Perfect summing. Without it, it's okay. Perfection. The sine wave immediately goes through. Looks like a clean kick. Perfect. So we record that so we can clean it up. What we want to look out for is any post stringing after this. So we can just take the first half of the kick. Put that on our edit track here actually. and then fade it like so. What parameters can you experiment with when you make a kick to make it sound different? 1, the equalization and the processing that you apply. 2, the pitch curve that you use for LFO tool here. 3, the different layers of transient and head source that you use on top of it. The length of the head has a very big implication on like the noisiness of your kick. For example, if I turn this up, you get kind of like a standard head on the kick, right? Some people don't like that. Like me, I like my kicks to be a lot cleaner like this. Just have a strong parameter, so I use the head only for the small burst of noise at the start. So that's something that you can play with. Pitch, obviously, to make sure that it falls in line with what you're doing in your bass line. In this case, it sounds nice. But those would be the parameters that I would experiment with. Why is this so far behind? Why is my screen so far behind? That's strange. I want to find a G sharp. There we are. Copy over this, drag it in there. It's annoying that you have to go through all of these folders, but I guess that's an Ableton thing, because it saves a project and not just the sample. This one is distorting. That's not what we want. Let's fix kick 3. Is it distorting here? Yes. Is it distorting here? Yes. Is it distorting here? No. In processing chain number 3 here, there might be a clipper which is a little bit too enthusiastic. Ah, we have this compressor. Okay, that's it. I just need to fix that. Obviously that cannot work. I've got more. Sure, shoot away. I'm here all day. I have some more tracks that I can react to. 3 more actually. So we'll be doing that in a little bit. Rename, Control C, delete. This one is good now. Okay, so that's the kick fixed. Kick number 3 now. Sounding good. Do you consider the BPM when you design the kick? Yes, these are all designed for 143 BPM, as you can see. The reason is the same as I said before. We want the lineup of the kick here. Hello? We want this kick to line up here, and that obviously is BPM dependent. So that's why I designed them for the BPM with the BPM in mind. Actually, this is the final kicks. It's all the same bassline, but it sounds so different for each kick. Apart from the key, right? Like this and this. Even though these are the same key. This one is a lot more aggressive. Okay, let's do some more feedback. Let's have a look at our analyzers. Quickly save this project before it causes trouble again. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we are. We're starting off with another track from Klaus. This is PP2 Psytrance. Then we have Psy. We have Deku 420. And those are the 3 tracks that we have now. Why is that flashing so much? I don't know. Either way, PP2 Psytrance. That snare is way too loud. Very much a Klaus style track, but here the mixing is a little bit less, I would say. Work in progress, I can imagine. I mean, the idea is good. It's very clearly one of your tracks. Right? With the kind of white, big vibes going on. Immediately goes on to the next one. We don't want that. Klaus always creates awesome leads. Yes, I agree. Do you add a tiny attack? When it comes to the kick, I only make tiny attacks if I need the space for the transient with regards to the body. Otherwise, like this transient here is, as you can set, 0.00 attack. I really want the full transient to come out. So quickly addressing that, snare is way more prominent than the kick. Yes, that's not good. Also, you can scoop out the mid-range from the snare. We don't really need that in Psytrance. It sounds like the limiter is really boosting the snare. Could that be? It couldn't only boost the snare without boosting the rest. So I'm assuming that it's just a mixing thing. It's not my fault once, lol. The next track is Psy, Enchanted Forest 146. It's not a long one, another 7 minutes of Salian. Oh, I forgot the analyzers. I forgot the important things. The things that look cool. Maybe a bit too strong on that first resonant frequency there. This one from the pad that we just saw. Or maybe it's just too loud for me. Yeah, you have to... It's again the same issues with your kick and bass in that it's not clean. You add a lot of processing after you resample or after you create your bassline and you don't take into account your kick and bass separation. Again, very dark. But for this, that kind of works in terms of the lower atmospheres and stuff like that. yeah, your kick and bass separation is really something that you should be fixing immediately. Like, that's an actual mistake, right? I don't know why my stereo analyzer is spazzing out like this, but that doesn't look like the stereo wave of this sound here. This might be an issue. Just reduce the low frequency volume. Well, it's not so much that, it's the post ringing is going into your transient. So it's messing up your kick transient. Drop some tips to fix that bass, kick and bass, guys. Well, I mean, there's a whole video that I did on how I do my kick and basses. You could watch that. That will explain kick and bass separation. If you resample the bass, nothing will bleed into the next note. Exactly. Just take a single note, resample it, and then turn that into your bass line. Look at the phase relationship between the kick and bass, however you want to do that. And don't process it after you have resampled. The kick is a bit dull, maybe another kick would work better. To be honest, I'm quite a fan of this like low kick feeling here, but I do believe it misses a little bit of that punch here in the kind of 200 to 500 area. This region here. No snap. Yes. It really doesn't go above like 3K. Melodic part, one of the things that I hear a lot is that people will just go into like a melodic part or a different bass line pattern or something like that, and they won't change their main elements, like I hear here. You can hear the kick and bass just suddenly change. There's no fill, there's no different elements to announce it. There's nothing really that indicates that your kick and bass is going to change. And as a main element, you do want that announcement to happen. So a little fill before it and have a different synth in there.
It's not in the end. It's not knocking your head against the floor in front of somebody who finds that because of their religion.
Again, vocals need to be more pronounced.
They watch the nature knowledge is and we see our yes to approach.
Because you have all of these leads sitting on top of the vocals, you need to mix in the vocals in such a way that we can still understand them. Because I have no idea what's being said. Bass is a bit techno-ish. Yes, with all of that low-end rumble you get a little bit of techno feeling. The techno producers are the kind of people that don't care about the immense intricacies of kick bass alignment, and therefore they add a reverb. We are the sophisticated psytrance people. We appreciate the phase. Techno peasants don't like phase. I'm sorry, if you're a techno producer, then I love you. feedback, guys. I need to work on it. Well, most of the feedback has definitely been meow, an alien cat and stuff like that. So they like that. That's a good pointer. It's just bass towards the end. Just bass. We have some more messages. We have Zendo coming through as well. This is Deku420. Techno, it's not completed, just an idea I had while making Sidetrack. Would love a feedback. You will get a feedback. Well, first feedback, your bass has no bass, and your kick is a bit too long. I wouldn't go for that kind of feeling. Just do like normal bassline with a bass. Make your kick a little bit shorter, so that it's all the way at 0 when it hits the offbeat, and then you can just put in your bassline. Ooh, that's a mess. Did you see that on the waveform? Look what happens when you lay your kicks on top of each other improperly. You get some DC offset in there. You don't want that. Make sure that you fade out your kicks when you're doing kick fills. There's another Mind Beat track being recommended to me. As always. This time it's Beta Pictoris that's being recommended here. From Master Projector Dash and so on. Don't call me Master, please. That's that's a little bit too much. Call me Master Class. Because, did you know, I have a Masterclass out. Exclamation point Masterclass if you're interested. As always. Walk away, Zendo.
Don't fall apart. Don't look around. Don't fall apart. I'll walk away.
This is gonna be hardstyle.
You can scream and shout, but don't fall apart.
Again, vocals are not up front in the mix yet. Ooh. Very strong kick and bass in terms of the synthesis. This is like normal trance. You should have your bassline follow the melody, then you have like actual trance. Kick and bass separation, we can see the transients bending downwards a little bit, so you still have a little bit of issues, but the sound itself is very nice. It is very, very good. Just that little last percentage can help the track massively. With the attention to details, the attention to the mix. I wouldn't change like the tone too much and stuff like that. It's just the separation between the kick and the bass, and especially the kick transient is what I noticed being like distorted downwards. I can show it later when it gets back into the drop properly. Very cool. I think this is the part where you want that synth to really come through. And it's not really pushing it yet. Like this. You want it coming through like this. This is nice. Nice play with the stereo field as well. Yeah, you can see that kick transient, it's going all the way down here and not up there. That's a telltale sign of post-ringing into the transient. You don't want that to happen. It also happens with your bassline, so it's probably post-ringing, having some issues with the bassline. Not a different track here, I don't know who's that. We have more tracks. At the moment we don't have more tracks. I did the Deku one. Just for the feedback, mate. No worries, that's why I'm here. Okay, so let's close out of this again. How long have I been streaming? It's been 3 hours. Let's make some more kicks. Still, if you want more feedback on your tracks, then obviously that's still possible. Exclamation point feedback to get all of the information that you need. I see some people posting in feedback themselves as well. Ah, somebody posted in there and then deleted it, I think. Stuff in general. People saying hi towards each other in the general chat. More people joining. I'm just looking through, making sure that I'm not missing anything here. "26 likes. I think that's a record for a live stream. And normally we have MyLogify here that's telling everybody actively to like every once in a while. We haven't had that even. Okay, so let's work on another kick. What is something we haven't done in a while? Which key? I mean, I could go for an F sharp. Let's go for an F sharp. Can take over the bass notes, select all of them, and then just highlight all of them. Let's go F sharp. I have F sharp now, right? Yes. Okay, so we need to work on body 17. I want this to be a bit lower. E0 sounds nice. Because I'm starting off at the common starting point, I already have kind of the right feeling for the kick. Something like that. Do I need to turn my volume back up again? A little bit. Can I get feedback on my kicks? I feel like I'm taking the piss. You can always absolutely say no. I'll give feedback on anything. If you guys want feedback on something, even if it's multiple tracks, that's what I set out to do this stream, giving feedback on tracks. We've handled a lot of different tracks, we can listen to a lot more. And I'm sure people will be fine by listening to kick drums. I mean, it is in the theme of what we're doing here on the stream as well, so. We're kind of giving feedback on each other's kick drums at this point. Nice, let's add our transient, number 17. play with the pitch of the transient as well to get different tones and such. Head source. Let's go for a longer hat here. Let's go maybe like 70, 80. Sounds a little bit tighter. I like this. Okay, let's see if we need to fix anything. We first consolidate, set this to 0. Check the level of the sub. We want to go to process number 17 here. Of course, we want to listen to this one. Go EQ. Kicks are live. By the way, everybody, you can download them for free. Ah, here we are. They feel a little bit boxy in my opinion. Not enough punch through there. I want to see if I can find the frequency area to identify it. I think it's like lacking a little bit here and lacking a lot of transient, a lot of high frequencies. Right? Like, let's have a look at this. It's a lot more balanced, more higher frequencies. I get a little bit more oomph out of this area here. You really like to cut right here as well. Is the feedback part still going? As long as I'm live, the feedback part will be going for today. Kick measuring contest, yes. Where exactly is that mid area? This is, you can see, 150-ish to like 300, I would say. I'm personally not a fan of the kind of like 450 to 600 region, this region of my kick. So I'd like to dip that down a little bit. We should be able to... Oh, it messes up because you switch out of a tab that has something that opens up. It switches out there and it makes you drag the track. But the area that I like to cut is more like here. You instead cut it like here. So this is what your kick sounds like, right? You want that little bit of oomph in there, a little bit of punch. Much more convenient frequency to kind of cut is this here. You still maintain that punch, but you remove a little bit of that lower oomph of the transient click. That's what I like, and personally I would say that you need a little bit more high end in your kicks. Even this kick. Something like that, and then we'll fix that one big spike that is here. We can do that with the 4. Okay, a little bit higher, I see. Perfect. Something like that. I have to leave foot now. Good evening. Oh, thank you for the stream projector. Thank you for being here. Nice to see you around as well. Okay, we need to check the kick and bass relationship here. I think it cleanly lines up. Yes, we can see it exactly lining up on the zero crossing, which is exactly what we want. Although I would like a little bit of a boost of the lower frequencies. So I'm going to do that with a shelf at around 80 Hz-ish. obviously we have to check again. I mean, it's still close enough. I could edit it. That would give me a little bit more post-stringing too. Now it's over, so we oscillate to the next one. Here, kick length now. That's good enough. I can. That is a bit too much. Let's go like this. Okay, record and clean it up. Okay, so this was F sharp, I believe. F sharp, yes. Kick number 17 already. No more other things for feedback, right? Justin was rendering something, but other than that, we don't have anything else for feedback right now. So we move on to the next kick. We move this over. Let's do a D sharp. A little bit of a darker one. Got the track and feedback for you, projector. Feedback on... this is the different one. Yes, I saw the same name. But this is planetary noise. Sorry, I overlooked it. Let's pop these on the screen. We don't need that anymore. Zendo planetary noise. Let's have a listen. Nice sound design from the start. That's a little bit overly bright, that vocal. Very aggressive. Yeah, my stereo analyzer is just completely messed up. I don't know what's happening here. It's just a distraction. Very trance-like track again. I like it. Nice progression here. no repetition in the progression. That means we're not going back to that progression. I'm assuming. Yes, it's more psychedelic stuff. I don't like that this is a gallop bass and not a rolling bass line. I think a rolling bass line would be infinitely better on this track. A continuous kind of style. But still a very big fan. It's a very well sounding track, well balanced, well mixed, good master, just overall good production. But there's always details that we might disagree on. Everybody in the chat seems to like it as well, so that's nice. Okay. That's it. No more feedback. How long have I been streaming? It's been 3 hours. I want to do a little bit more. Cheers, I'm learning for you. Thank you. Nice. Nice to see that that's happening. Okay, D sharp. That means that our kick would go C sharp, which is very low sounding, so we need to be very, very careful with the body. We go body 18. Essentially, we cannot go too low, otherwise we go too low in frequency, right? For the kick. I used to mix UK hardcore, so that's where the influences come from. I wouldn't say that. I would definitely say that you were trying to make like normal trance. But I guess, I don't know. It didn't sound like it. Let's go with a little bit of like that volcanic or volcano on Mars kind of clicky feeling. We had a transient as usual. Head transient. I can pitch this up a little bit. Something like that. Let's have a look. Let's check out our components actually. Summing. Yeah, so we have some summing issues at the very beginning. Essentially our transient is too loud. And it sums together with this. So if we go like this, it should cancel. It's both a little bit of a mess. What I'm going to do is add some attack to our head in this one. So that it just starts right after this peak, right here, essentially. Oh, this is the transient. I want to go at 80. this into a sampler. That way we can go modulation or here, and then I can click this and set the attack slope down. Perfect. Now I can tune this properly. Let's look at the summing now. Apart from that one starting point, we get a nice transient here. Okay, so you can move the filter in here to kind of shift the phase of your transient, just like you would with a normal kick. And then you get something like this. And Pete, how are you doing? Welcome. As you can see, we're doing feedback on stream. If you have any track that you would like me to listen to, we can. I'll just stop what I'm doing, open up my analyzers, and then listen. What we are first going to do is process this kick here with a bit of EQ. Let's first do like the generical tonal processing. Yeah, I have a track. Nice. Okay, exclamation feedback to get the instructions on how to submit the track. You will be sent to my Discord. Your track signs on your account. You will be sent to my Discord channel. You can join in there, and then you can go to feedback on stream, and you can get feedback on whatever you send right here. That's how it's going to happen. Exclamation feedback for the invite link directly to the right channel. Do you need the wave? It would be better if you have a wave file, but it's not required. Actually, I need to be listening to this here. I always make that same mistake. Then this goes. Hello? This is on. Kick recording is on. Ah, I turned this off. I need to turn this off. Transient is a little bit too sharp here. You can see a spike there. Okay, let's phase align this. Why is it not showing up here? Or is that the kick size scope? I need this one here. Layers. There we are. Okay, let's clean this kick up here, like this, and go like that. I kind of lost. Where do I submit the track on the Discord? You go to feedback on stream down below. If you scroll down below here, feedback on stream. I'm Justin Harrison on SoundCloud. It's going to be. Yes, this is accessible. Somber's work in progress. So this is not your track then, MP, right? I missed the process you're using to make these kicks. Do you show it in one of your videos? Yes, in yesterday's stream we set up this whole project. So it's in there. I also, yeah, I do have a video on the topic, but it's not showing you how I mix these three together. But that's more detail work as well. You mainly want to get the body right. I can't upload mine because the file is too big. What you can do is upload it to SoundCloud and then send the SoundCloud link. I'll be here for another like 30 minutes, so you have plenty of time to be able to do that. Or you can just send me the YouTube link if you don't care about the quality. Either way, we're going to listen to Sombers by Maddox Knight or Justin Henderson. He's been here in the stream for a little while. Let's have a listen. Sombers uploaded okay? I hope so, yes. What about Spotify? Perfect. If you want the Spotify link, then you can send a Spotify link. It is very somber in its theme, in the sense that it sounds very dark. You're missing... I don't want to alarm you, but you're missing a bass line. He forgot his bass line. Or super long intro. There we have a bass line. I'm not a fan of kick intros like that. I'm gonna be honest. We can ignore this again, this is broken. Alright, I posted a Spotify link. Yes, I can see that. Nice, we'll get to you in a little bit. There's not a lot of progression in this track. There's not a lot of stuff happening. I know it's still a work in progress, so maybe you are going to add a lot more sounds to it. But there's not a lot happening in the track, right? It's just this one lead over and over again. Needs more mid-high sounds, yes. And by working on a new kickback, not just kicks, drums in general. But it's going to be big on the kick side. I want to make 100 kick drums for each BPM, and then 5 different BPMs. So 500 kicks will be in this pack. If I can manage it all. Personally, I also like these spaces where you're low passed and transitioning into the next section to be a little bit quieter than my kick and bass itself. That was nice. Leave it open. Leave it open and don't low pass it. It sounds too low energy. You could show us how to make hi-hats sometimes as well. Yes, obviously I'm doing a bunch of the streams where I'm forcing myself to just make a bunch of sounds. In this case I'm doing it by the side, right, for the feedback. But I'll show you a bunch of different drums, how to make them and stuff like that. Hi-hats are very, very hard to get the tone right. You definitely have like the groove going and stuff like that, but there's just not enough happening in the track right now. Like this synth is very static. We've had the same synth playing in the lower mids for all this time now. But it is a good start, yes. Nice playing with the filter cutoff there. You can have that shine through more. Also, you're not really a fan of fills, are you? Just the kick and bass is just going and going and going. People don't transition from one section to another one. Here the offbeat hi-hat just goes away and the synths continue to play and all of the sounds continue to play as if they were the same. There's no indication of that change happening. What you want to do is a bar of no kick and bass, drum fill or something like that, and then go into the next section. You can do a little kick fill, but you can at least alleviate some of the pressure that you get from the constant kick and bass and reset the listener, and then go into your next section. Also, your kick is a lot more closed than your bass line here. That's strange. Normally your kick transient has a lot more higher frequencies than your bass transient. Your bass line actually sounds very, very nice, but your kick is way too dark. Needs that strength that we've talked about before here with the high frequencies and my kicks that has shown off. But you can hear the kicks that I use or that I'm making here, right? Oh, shut up. They all come with a strong high-end punch. And this kick doesn't. And I don't like that. Either way, we have one more track to get to right now. This is Signs by M. Pete. Spotify installer. I just want to listen to it in the browser. Can I do that? Oh, it's forcing me to use the app. Doesn't matter, we'll use the Spotify link here. So this is already released. If you're interested in this track, Signs by N. Pete, it's obviously in my Discord channel. Nice strong setup. Stereo bass. Nice. I like this kick and bass. It's clean, it's very clean. Good separation. Maybe a little bit too much 500 to 600 on the kick. 500, 600 hertz. This area right here. Push that down a little bit more, then your sub comes out a little bit more. Love it, the vocals, the groovers, really good music. Thank you. That's what I do it for. This is also very good. Nice groovy. at some point you do have to get out of this groove again, because it's not something you would keep up for the whole drop, I would say. So here with that feel, I would just go back into the normal kick and bass. Damjan, how are you doing? You could widen the vocals a little bit, get them a little bit less than just completely mono. Just like a little bit of space out there. I know this makes no sense, don't look at this. Beautiful music, I don't know who it is, I just came here. M. Pete. This is Science by M. Pete. It's in my Discord channel, as always. We're currently listening to this one here. Very solid part, this. Kick and bass stays nice and separated even when the key changes. Some real attention to detail was brought into that kick and bass. Tends to go out of sync at the end. I didn't notice that. It's just more than my professional feedback. We also have Greedo. And everybody else, of course, as well. I don't think I like those very high bass notes. They kind of break the flow of your very clean kick and bass. I do like that you're going up and down every once in a while. But that very high, that more than an octave jump, it's maybe a bit too much. Getting back with that groovy synth. Very well produced. Overall, also, when it comes to the theme, there was a very clear vocal theme and synth theme throughout the whole track, tying everything together. Very good production. Very nice. Do we have anything else? We have another one. Zendo, Connected Space. Let's have a listen to Zendo. This one, it allows me to play in the browser. That's strange. I got another track if you guys want. Sure, bring it on.
Today was another sunny day for me.
Little bit of issues with your kick bass transient. Overall, the vocals were sitting nice. You're nailing that part. But we should be going into the high energy build up kind of thing. The synths and the vocals, they're not playing the same thing. I would have first my vocals and then transition into the synths, not have them together. I would separate those two elements. Have first nothing in it, just like your effects and stuff like that, then go into the vocal and then go into the synth, so that you have three different sections.
Another sunny day for me, going, but hearing the sound of the riff on condensing glass. same thing that human being continues to keep on standing and rise up like a flower underground, like a flower from underground.
We are connected.
Again, I feel like your kick is lacking a little bit of high end. That real strong snap in here. Kick transient isn't really punching through the mix as you would like for such a futuristic kind of style. Like, it's not Dark Side, right? And I know it's Dark Sunday today, but still. That was Connected Space. How many tracks have I been listening to? We have a lot more still. We have Signs, we have Singularity, we have... Oh, Signs we already checked. We now have to listen to Singularity. I want to go back after this stream, and I will, looking at how many different tracks I've actually listened to, because it's been a few. I wasn't expecting this many, to be quite honest. Singularity by M. Pete. Shame that this is so low in volume. Why is it so low? Is it because I'm using loudness compensation? Because it's from... You can definitely see that it's like mastered well. Or like normal sine. But then there's Spotify that pushes you down. Nice big bass step there on the end. I feel like if you're gonna do a vocal pattern like that, you should have a much shorter rhythm, just like 1 bar or something like that. This is now 4 bars. Nice little bass fill there. You can hear that this is somebody who puts a little bit of thought in where to put the fills, and you can hear that there's a fill and then something changes in the track, right? That's how you want to do it. Like that, there was a big fill because there was a big change.
Singularity.
Very nice. There's just an ambulance coming by. It's part of the track now. Hi-hats can be a little bit louder. You're lacking a little bit of that crunchy high end. Unfortunately, I cannot play it just through Ableton. Then I could EQ your track and I could let you listen to how your track would sound with extra high end, that extra spice, that extra bite that you get from that. I think we have been scared into believing that we should always be going down on our sidetrans spectrum, but for sidetrans and for techno and stuff like that, you generally go up here and then down again. Because you want those really strong hi-hats and kind of grittiness from any leads that you might have, stuff like that. So normally with sidetrans you'll see that there's another spike here instead of it rolling off completely. And here again, kick and bass, a bit boxy in this 600 area. You can enable downloads on SoundCloud, then you could get a WAV file. I could also just record it. I mean, it's already going through Ableton, so I could record it into Ableton. Let's actually do that. Just as an example, for this one track, I'll record this part here with the hi-hats, and I'll quickly show you what your track is going to sound like if you EQ it. Oh, it's a different track. Please, Spotify, don't do this to me. Let me just listen to his track. Where is it now? Singularity. Play, please. Okay, let's listen to this. If I bump up an EQ, there we are, and I just start boosting it. Have a listen to how your track is brought to life by just one simple high-end boost right here. Just do it like this. See darkness brought to life. Get rid of that boxiness around 600. Maybe the lower frequencies are very well put together. You could stylistically go like this. Like, maybe not even 3 dB, like this maybe. But you can see what kind of boost I need to do to get your high end in order. High end is really overlooked, I would say, in this track. Like, listen to the difference. It's just back there. It sounds like it's playing in a club and you're standing outside it. And now you're in the middle of it. Want to work as my mastering engineer? Sure. I'm actually looking in, not getting into mastering per se, but mainly mixing. I could also do mastering. But these are the kind of things you generally want to fix this in the mix. You want to have your tonal balance done in the mix. Something like this 1.9 dB cut at 600 Hertz. That's something you would do in the master. But if you need to boost 10 dB in your master, then there's something fundamentally wrong with your production and mixing process in general. So then at that point, it's no longer, as a mastering engineer, I would need to get in there and just teach you how to make better music, right? Which is hopefully what I'm doing by giving this feedback and explaining all of this. And still, I want you guys to remember that this is all my subjective opinion. It's only worth as much as you trust in my ears and in my skill as a producer. If you say, well, the music that you make also doesn't sound good, then obviously my feedback isn't worth a lot. We could do another one if we want to. How long has it been? It's been almost 4 hours. I think I'm going to call it quits here for today. I want to spend a little bit more time working on the kicks so that they can actually get finished. I need to update, as I've seen, my analyzers. So I'm going to be looking into getting a little bit of a better analyzer setup. You can see there's like, well, not right now, there isn't. But they are like doing weird stuff and they're laggy and old and stuff like that. Next feedback stream will be Sunday in 2 weeks. The next challenge stream will be next Sunday. So then you guys get to participate in the challenge, and then we'll do stuff together again. This is like a little bit more on me, right? Because I'm giving all of the feedback and you guys are chatting and stuff like that. But with the challenge, it's actually listening to you guys, their productions in the moment, which I think is a little bit more interesting. Either way, this is going to be the stream. Do I have anything to say? Yes, I have more things to say. Obviously, I want to say once more, you guys, there's the masterclass is out. You guys can listen to the masterclass song on my SoundCloud as well as on my YouTube page. You can buy the masterclass on my Gumroad if you guys are actually interested into knowing how to make the track that I made for the masterclass, as well as a whole bunch of other things that I explain. It's 24 hours of footage, and if you buy the full masterclass package, you will also get the stems from the project. You get the project in which I mastered the track, you will get the Reaper project in which I mixed the track, you will get the production projects as well. So you'll get a lot of stuff. Finally, I want to say about the video again. If you have the time and you haven't seen it yet, this particular video that I made and I posted on Monday is definitely worth a watch. 4 producers share the same beat. Go check it out. Please watch it all the way through. Let's get it pumping in the algorithm. Whatever you guys need to do. The most important thing is watch time at this point. I think I just need to get people to watch it all the way through. As I said before, as I explained, there's gaps in it. People are mainly listening to the tracks, which is kind of natural, obviously. But still, it would be nice if we get a little bit of a boost for the algorithm for this one. But thank you. Next stream will be in a few days, whenever I have time, whenever I have energy. And Sunday will be the challenge. See you guys. Thank you for hanging out. It was very, very interesting.